Pride and Prejudice, the armor that protects you and imprisons you. There's a scene in the book that no one forgets. It's early morning. Elizabeth Bennet is walking through the fields of Netherfield, alone. The dress was covered in mud. Her hair was disheveled by the wind. And when she enters the room where Mr. Darcy is, he can't take his eyes off her. Not because she's beautiful, but because she is book, free from conventions, free from masks, free from the desperate need to please. And that terrifies him, because Mr. Darcy spent his entire life building a suit of armor, an armor made of pride. And Elizabeth Bennet, with her sharp wit, her wry smile, and her refusal to bow, is the only person capable of cross it. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why Pride and Prejudice, written by Jane Austen in 1813, is not just a period romance. It's a psychology manual, a manual about how the pride, it's the armor we wear to hide our vulnerability, how the prejudice, it's the distorted lens we use to avoid facing the truth, how the true love it only happens when both fall, and why, 212 years later, does this story continue to be painfully current? I'm going to reveal it. The first proposal. The moment when Darcy offers everything to Elizabeth, and she tears him apart with words. Then you'll see. The letter that changes everything. When Elizabeth realizes that everything she thought she knew was wrong. Together, I'll show you Pemberley. Not the mansion itself, but the psychological symbol of what happens when you finally let your guard down. And in the end, the second proposal, where two broken prides meet, humbly. Do you think you know this story? I thought so too. But by dissecting it, I discovered important lessons from Jane that I will carry with me for life. This book is the basis for practically every novel written since. Enjoy it. Because Pride and Prejudice isn't about finding love. It's about destroying the version of yourself that prevents love from entering. And what if you've spent years wearing such heavy armor that you don't even remember what it feels like anymore? This story is for you. Ready? So take a deep breath, because where are we going? The masks will fall. If you've ever used pride as armor, if you've ever judged someone based on first impressions, if you've ever lost someone because you couldn't admit you were wrong, this video will transform you. But before we begin, leave a like now, because that gesture tells me you're ready to let your guard down. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, press that red button. You'll discover that the biggest obstacle between you and true love. Part 1. The Suffocating Society. England, early 19th century. A time when women could not inherit property. Marriage was about economic survival, not a choice. One wrong word could destroy a reputation forever. And the social mask was more important than the real face. In this world lives the Bennet family. Mr. Bennet, an intelligent man who gave up on himself. Mrs. Bennet, a woman obsessed with marrying off her 5 daughters before it's too late. And the daughters, Jane, the oldest, sweet, beautiful, incapable of seeing evil in anyone. Elizabeth, the second one, intelligent, ironic, who refuses to play the social game. Mary, the invisible scholar. Kitty, which she imitates. Lydia, the youngest, impulsive, dangerously naive. And they all live under an economic death sentence because Mr. Bennet has no sons. And when he dies, everything, the house, the land, will go to a distant cousin, Mr. Collins. And the daughters, they will be thrown into the street, unless they're a good match. And that's no exaggeration. It's a historical fact. Single women without money in the 19th century had 3 options, depending on the charity of relatives: becoming a governess, essentially disguised slavery, to die in poverty. So when Mrs. Bennet screams hysterically about weddings, she's not being dramatic. She is desperate. It is in this context that he arrives in the city, Mr. Bingley, young, rich, single, and he brings a friend with him, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, Even richer, owner of a vast estate called Pemberley, £10,000 a year, the equivalent of millions today. It's completely unbearable. In 2 minutes, you will see the first meeting when Elizabeth and Darcy look at each other for the first time, and why that moment defines everything that comes after. About the Bale de Meryton, all the families in the region are there, including the Bennets. Jane dances with Mr. Bingley, and it's obvious that they fell in love at first sight. But Elizabeth is sitting down, observing, smiling in that ironic way of hers. And then she listens. Mr. Bingley approaches Darcy and says, "Come on, Darcy, you need to dance. You can't stand still all night." Darcy looks around, and he replies in a voice as cold as ice, "Your partner is the only pretty girl in the room." Bingley insists, "She's the prettiest woman I've ever seen. But look over there, her sister, Elizabeth. She's very lovely." Darcy looks. Elizabeth feels the gaze. And then he says, loud enough for her to hear, "She's tolerable, but not pretty enough to tempt me." Elizabeth turns her face away, but not before Darcy saw. She heard everything. And at that moment, 2 things happen. 1, Elizabeth decides that man is an insufferable, arrogant person. 2, Darcy notices without understanding why. This woman is different from all the others. Psychologically, what just happened? Darcy used pride-like armor. He grew up rich, powerful, and admired, but also alone. Because when you have power, you never know who loves you for who you are, who loves you for what you have. So Darcy learned to don't trust. And to protect himself, he created a wall of coldness, disdain, and superiority. Pride is fear disguised as arrogance. And Elizabeth? She used prejudice like a shield. She saw a rich, serious, proud man. And he decided instantly, he is everything I despise. Prejudice is an instant judgment used to avoid vulnerability. Because if you decide right from the start that someone is evil, you don't need to risk finding out who they really are. And so the dance begins. 2 sources of pride, 2 prejudices, 2 suits of armor so heavy that neither of them can move freely. Have you ever judged someone based on first impressions, only to later discover you were completely wrong? Leave a comment below. I also judged wrong, and if this content is making you rethink your own armor, share with someone who also needs to hear this. Wait until I tell you about Mr. Wickham, the man Elizabeth thinks is perfect, and how he uses his charm to hide something much darker. This comes in 3 minutes. The charm that deceives weeks go by. Jane and Mr. Bingley are growing closer and closer. Elizabeth avoids Darcy whenever she can. And then a new army officer arrives in town. Mr. Wickham, beautiful, charming, with a smile that lights up the entire room. And when he meets Elizabeth, he charms her immediately, because Wickham does something Darcy never did. He listens to her. He laughs at her jokes. He treats her as an equal. He makes her feel vista. And then in conversation, Wickham tells a story. He says, "I grew up at Pemberley. My father was the estate manager, and Mr. Darcy's father loved me like a son. He promised he would give me a position in the church, security for life." Elizabeth listens, fascinated. But when old Mr. Darcy died, his son completely ignored his promise. He left me with nothing, out of pure envy, because his father loved me more. Elizabeth is shocked. That's awful. Wickham smiles, a sad, noble smile. "I don't talk about this with anyone, but with you, I feel I can be honest." And Elizabeth believes her, because that's exactly what she wants to hear. That Darcy is just as bad as she thought. That his initial judgment was correct. That she doesn't need to reconsider anything. This is the function of prejudice. He seeks confirmation, not truth. And Wickham, charming, manipulative, a liar, provides exactly the confirmation Elizabeth needs. But there is something Elizabeth doesn't see. Every time Wickham mentions Darcy, There is hatred in his eyes. Not hatred stemming from injustice, hatred at being prevented from doing something you feel you deserve. Because Wickham is the archetype of charming narcissist. He doesn't love Elizabeth. He uses her as an audience for his own victim story. And Elizabeth, so intelligent, so perceptive, falls completely for it. Because even the most intelligent people are blind when ego is involved. The first proposal, the most brutal and honest moment in the entire book. Darcy will offer everything, and Elizabeth will destroy him. Don't leave now. Wait. If you're enjoying this analysis of Pride and Prejudice and the masks we wear to avoid getting hurt, you it needs activate Tinker Bell from the notifications. Because in the coming weeks, I'll be releasing analyses of Jane Eyre, Emma, Sense and Sensibility, always with this same psychological lens. Click the bell icon now and leave a comment. I'm ready for Jane Austen. Meanwhile, something terrible happens. Mr. Bingley, suddenly, without explanation, leaves Netherfield. He's going to London, and it doesn't come back. Jane is devastated because she believed that he loved her. And Elizabeth, she's furious because she knows who convinced Bingley to leave. Darcy. He thinks we're too poor, too inferior. He destroyed my sister's happiness out of pure pride. And then, the proposal. The first proposal, when pride crumbles. Elizabeth is visiting the estate of Mr. Collins, who married her friend Charlotte. And who shows up in the neighborhood? Darcy. He is coming to visit his aunt, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. But he begins to visit Elizabeth, with strange frequency, remaining silent, just looking. Elizabeth doesn't understand. And then, on a rainy afternoon, alone in the room, Darcy speaks. He starts walking nervously, trembling hands, in a tense voice. I fought against it. It was useless. There's no point. Elizabeth looks on, confused. And then it explodes. My feelings cannot be suppressed. You must allow me to tell you how much I admire you and love you. Silence. Elizabeth freezes. And Darcy continues, but not with romance, with brutal honesty. It was against my judgment, against my reason, against my will. Everything inside me screamed that this was madness, her social standing, her family, the inferiority of her connection. I tried to ignore all of that, but I can't. So here I am, against my own reason, asking for her hand in marriage. Elizabeth, explode. Not out of joy, out of anger. Did you expect me to be grateful? To feel honored to be loved despite being inferior? Darcy recoils, shocked. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you said. You insulted my family. You destroyed my sister's happiness by separating her from Bingley. You ruined Wickham's life, and now you come here offering me your love, as if it were a gift I should thank you for on my knees. Wickham? You believe him? I believe everything he told me, because at least he was honest with me, something you never were. Darcy is pale. My hands are trembling. And then he says in a sharp voice, "Is that all? If my feelings were different, if I had been less honest, maybe you would have accepted it?" Elizabeth gets up, his eyes glistening with tears of rage. If you had acted more chivalrously, perhaps I would have accepted. But you could never have won me over. From the first moment I saw you, I perceived your arrogance, your presumption, your selfish disregard for the feelings of others. Nothing could make me accept the man who destroyed my sister's happiness. Deadly silence. Darcy looks at her, and something about it break. He makes a stiff bow. I'm sorry for taking up so much of your time. And you know, eggs I'll show you. On paper, where Darcy reveals truths that will shatter everything Elizabeth thought she knew, including about Wickham. Stay with me. Psychologically, what just happened? Darcy offered true love, but wrapped in defensive pride. He said, I love you, despite you. And that's not love. It's condescension. It's when you offer affection, but maintain a sense of superiority. It's when you open your heart, but keep your armor on. And Elizabeth saw this immediately, because she is proud too. Not the pride of wealth, but the pride of never bow down. And when Darcy treated her as inferior, she destroyed it. But Elizabeth also made mistakes, because she judged Darcy based on a phrase he said at the dance, Wickham's fabricated story, your own need to be right, and now she's going to find out the truth, the letter that breaks everything. The following morning, Elizabeth goes for a walk, still furious, still justified, and then she sees him, Darcy, walking towards her. He doesn't speak, just hand him an envelope. I ask you to read this, and then we'll never see each other again. And then he leaves. Elizabeth opens the letter with trembling hands, and he begins to read. Letter. About Jane and Bingley. You accused me of separating your sister from my friend, and you're right. I advised him to leave Netherfield, but not out of pride, for protection. Bingley is a good man, but easily influenced, and I observed his sister Jane closely. She was polite, kind, but I never saw any signs of genuine affection in her. She smiled equally at everyone, so I believed her interest was social, not romantic. His family, I must admit, worried me as well. His mother speaking openly about marriage, his younger sisters acting inappropriately. I feared Bingley was being hunted. If I was wrong about Jane's feelings, then I committed a terrible injustice, and for that I apologize. Ashire Elizabeth stops reading. My heart was pounding, because she knows he was right about the mother and partially correct about Jane. Jane is so reserved that even Elizabeth sometimes doubts her feelings. My God, what if he really thought Jane didn't love Bingley? Part 2 of the letter. About Wickham. As for Mr. Wickham, prepare to read something that will shock you. It's true that my father loved him. It's true that he grew up in Pemberley. And it's true that my father left him an inheritance, £1,000 and a position in the church. Wickham received the money, but he refused the church. He said he wanted to study law. 3 years later, the money ran out. He came back asking for the position in the church. I refused. He had chosen another path. Then he asked me for £3,000 in exchange for definitively dropping any claim. I gave it to him, and I believed I would never see him again. But last year, he showed up in Ramsgate, where my sister, Georgiana, only 15 years old, was spending the summer. Wickham seduced her. He convinced her to run away with him and to marry him in secret. He didn't love her. He wanted her £30,000 inheritance. Luckily, Georgiana told me before they ran away. I confronted him, and I kicked him out. My sister was almost destroyed. She carries the shame to this day. I'm telling you this not to justify myself, but so you know who you're dealing with. If you doubt it, ask Colonel Fitzwilliam. He witnessed everything. Elizabeth drops the letter. My hands are trembling. Tears are streaming down, not out of sadness, shameful, because she realizes she was completely wrong. Wickham was no hero. It was a predator. Darcy was not a villain. He was protective. And she, with all her intelligence, her sharp judgment, she was deceived. She reads the letter again, and again, and again. And with each reading, another layer of prejudice falls away. How could I have been so blind? How could I have believed Wickham without questioning? How could I judge Darcy without knowing him? And for the first time, Elizabeth Bennet sees herself as she truly is. Proud, prejudiced, quick to judge, slow to reconsider, and that, the breakdown. If you've ever discovered you were completely wrong about someone and had to swallow your pride to admit it, you know what Elizabeth is feeling right now. In the next few minutes, Elizabeth will return home, and something terrible will happen to Lydia, something only Darcy can resolve. And when Elizabeth discovers what he did, everything will change. Stay with me. Pemberley, where armor falls. Months go by. Elizabeth returns home. Keep the letter close to your chest. Don't tell anyone. But something changed in her. She looks at Wickham with different eyes. She looks at her own family with different eyes. She looks at herself with different eyes. And then she's going to travel with her uncles, visit the interior, to get to know the landscapes. And the uncles suggest, let's visit Pemberley, Mr. Darcy's estate. They say it's magnificent. Elizabeth hesitates, but it confirms that Darcy is not there. Okay, we can go. And Pemberley is stunning, not just because of its beauty, but because of the way everything is taken care of. Gardens are not for showing off. They are harmony. Forests cannot be tamed. They are respected. Pemberley is not a display of power. It's an expression of character. And then the housekeeper, Mrs. Reynolds, begins to talk about Darcy. He's the best boss anyone could have. Generous, fair, never a cruel word. And with his sister, he's the most loving brother in the world. Elizabeth listens and feels her heart tighten. This is the man I rejected. And then Darcy appears. He shouldn't have been there, but he returned earlier. They meet in the gardens. Darcy is different. There is no arrogance. There is no coldness. He is humble. Miss Bennet, I didn't expect to see you here. I didn't expect to see him either. Awkward silence. And then Darcy does something extraordinary. He asks to meet her uncles, not with disdain, not with superiority, with genuine respect. He talks to them. I laughed with them, treat them as equals. And Elizabeth realizes he changed. The letter she wrote, with its cutting words, it transformed him. And that's crucial, because real transformation doesn't happen when you win the argument. It happens when you listen the painful truth about yourself and you choose to change. Darcy heard, "You are arrogant, presumptuous, selfish," and instead of defending himself, he looked inside and he acknowledged, "She's right." And that is love. Not the romantic love of soap operas, but it is love that transforms. In the next 3 minutes, Lydia will do something catastrophic, and Darcy will prove he's truly changed by doing something no one will ever know about, except Elizabeth. Don't leave now. The silent redemption. Elizabeth returns home, a confused heart. Feelings have changed. And then, catastrophe. Lydia, the younger sister, impulsive, foolish, ran away with Wickham. Without getting married, without protection, no plan, and that's the end. Because in the 19th century, a woman who runs away with a man without getting married, it's ruined. And not only her, the whole family. Neither of the sisters will be able to get married. The reputation is ruined. He finished. Mr. Bennet goes after them in London. You won't find anything. And then, a miracle. Wickham agrees to marry Lydia. But there is a price. Someone paid his debts. Someone bought him a military position. Someone gave enough money for the wedding to happen. But who? Elizabeth discovers it by accident. Wickham gets drunk at a dinner party, and he lets slip. Darcy. Darcy arranged everything. Elizabeth freezes. She'll get into the details. And discover. Darcy searched for Lydia and Wickham in London. Alone. He paid off all his debts. He organized the wedding. He saved the Bennet family's reputation. And I was never going to tell. Elizabeth Cora. Because she understands, Darcy didn't do that to win her over. He did it because it was the right thing to do. He did it because he loved Elizabeth. What if he loved Elizabeth? He loved her family too, even though family was exactly what he despised most. This is mature love, not I love you despite, but I love you, including. Pride and Prejudice isn't about romance. It's about growth. It's about breaking down the armor that prevents us from truly loving. If you recognize this, subscribe on this channel, because every video I make is about becoming whole. And if you're already subscribed, leave a comment. I choose to grow. In the next few minutes, the second proposal, where two broken prides, two transformed people, finally meet, humble. Stay until the end. The second proposal, when love wins. Darcy Volta and Netherfield. Com Bingley. He finally asks Jane to marry him, and it is accepted. Joy in the Bennet family. But Elizabeth is tormented because Darcy is there every day, and she doesn't know what to say. Until, on a morning walk, they are left alone. Darcy 4, take a deep breath, and he speaks, but now, completely differently. Elizabeth, I need to thank you for your brutal honesty, for your harsh words, because they showed me who I really was and gave me the chance to change. Elizabeth shakes her head. No, I'm the one who needs to thank you for the letter, for the truth, for showing me how blind I was. You weren't blind. You were right. I was arrogant, presumptuous, and I was prejudiced, hasty, too proud to admit I was wrong. Silence. And then Darcy says in a trembling voice, my feelings haven't changed. From the first proposal until now, I still love you. But now, I know I don't deserve you. And if you tell me there's no hope, I'll leave, and I'll never bother you again. Elizabeth looks at him, eyes shining, and for the first time, without armor, my feelings have completely changed. Before, I despised you. Now, I admire you more than anyone I've ever known. And if you still want me, I'm yours. And do they kiss? No, because Jane Austen did not write physical novels. But what happens is far more powerful. They walk together. They talk for hours. And finally, they see each other. No masks, no pride. Without prejudice, just two imperfect human beings, those who chose to grow. Epilogue. The armor you wear. Jane Austen never married. She died at age 41, single, while caring for her mother. But she understood something profound about love that most people will never understand. True love isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone imperfect and choosing to grow together. Darcy was proud, Elizabeth was prejudiced, and both changed, not because they fell in love, but why they chose to transform. And you? What armor do you wear? Pride? I don't need anyone. Prejudice? I know everything about this person in 5 seconds. Cynicism? Real love doesn't exist. Perfectionism? I will only love when I find someone flawless. These are all ways to protect yourself, but protection is also imprisonment. Carl Jung wrote, knowing your own darkness is the best way to deal with the darkness of others. And that's what Pride and Prejudice teaches. Darcy needed to confront his own pride. Elizabeth needed to confront her own prejudice. And only then could they truly love each other. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've just completed your own Pemberley journey. And now I have 3 requests. 1, leave a comment. Which armor do I wear? Pride, prejudice, cynicism, perfectionism? Be honest. 2, share this video with a person, that which you judged wrongly, or which judged you wrongly. It could be the beginning of something new. 3, subscribe and activate the bell. See you at the next dance, proud one. May your armor fall, and your heart finally breathes.